fashion salesman.
What's wrong with credit?
It's all fashion. Charlie here, an anvil salesman. Your firm give credit? No, sir. Nor anybody else. Cash for the merchandise, cash for the button hoods, cash for the cotton goods, cash for the hard goods, cash for the fancy goods, cash for the soft goods, cash for the noggins and the pickings and the firkins, cash for the hawks, cask and damajon, cash for the pickles and the flippers and the flypaper look. What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Alrighty, Mr. Music Man, I'm gonna cut you off right there. Wasn't that cool though? How Patrick just memorized all of that? Way to go, Patrick.
I have the entire scene memorized, but I doubt you want to listen to it. That would be just torture.
Yeah, for our audience's sake, maybe not. But that was still really good. Yay for Patrick. Let's give some snaps. Let's get some snaps up in here. Welcome back, everyone, to We're Just Friends, episode 4. Wow, we made it to episode 4.
Yeah.
How did we do that?
Been a run.
How did we do that?
Nobody knows. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. I'm here with the... I don't even know what adjective to describe this person. He's also a mystery.
Godlike.
I'm here with the godlike Patrick Stoddard.
And I'm here with Piper.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Much appreciation. I'm really, I can't express enough how excited I am for this episode in particular, because if anyone knows me, I love movies, I'm a movie buff, I feel like I know everything about movies, even though I don't, and so does Patrick. Patrick really likes movies, I think. I don't really know him that well.
Not as much as Piper, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know Patrick. He's kind of a stranger, so I don't know how much he really likes movies.
We just met each other on the street a couple days ago.
Yeah.
I think she's schizophrenic. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think Patrick might be a hobo. I don't really know, but I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Like, I just get a vibe from him that he's a hobo, so way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Patrick, do you read the Bible?
Yeah. In fact, there's a quote I like, Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyrannies of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I shall strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you shall know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Po, 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 po.
Let's get some snaps. Let's get some snaps for Patrick being able to memorize that again. Way to go.
Yeah, for those who don't know, that is a famous quote from the Quentin Tarantino film Pulp Fiction.
Oh, amazing.
Which is one of my favorite movies. It's there are a couple different storylines. That was the quote I just recited was from Jules, played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
And him and Vincent are two hitmen in the movie. Very good movie.
It's really good. And I completely forgot before I allowed you to recite that awesome quote. I forgot to explain what we're doing for this episode. So today I wanted to basically have like a top 5 list of our favorite movies of all time. And so Patrick and I have written down our top 5 with some honorable mentions before number 1. So we're going to start at 5 and then go to 1. And 1 is like our favorite movie of any movie in the universe. And that was Patrick's number 5. Patrick, would you like to explain why you like Pulp Fiction? Because that's your number 5 spot.
Well, it does have a lot of humor. And also the characters that I mentioned earlier, Vincent and Jules, they have, especially Jules has a very interesting philosophy, and I don't want to spoil the movie in case some of you have not seen it, but it is very funny, a little bit inappropriate. You can tell like they do make, especially in one scene, some jokes that aren't exactly like with the times. Like it might have been more acceptable then than they are now. But I mean, Quentin Tarantino always makes spectacular films, and yeah, they're wonderful.
If anyone is godlike, it's Tarantino.
Yeah, definitely.
He's fantastic. And
I have a question for you. So a lot of people think that, because it isn't, I guess, an ongoing theme in Tarantino films, and I know Piper is a huge
Oh,
Tarantino
I
film.
adore his films.
But there's like a rumor going around that Tarantino has a foot fetish.
I knew you were going to
Because-
ask that. I knew you were going to ask it. Ooh.
Because
Spill
pretty
the
much in
tea.
like every single one of his movies, there's something that has to do about feet. Whether it's like them walking through a hall and like talking about like massaging people's feet and like comparing that to like other acts, and or like there's one scene where like a dude like fondles like this one woman's foot for like the entire scene.
Yeah.
And like there's just other tons and tons of like foot related stuff, and it could just be like, oh, here's just like an insert thing that he just does kind of just as a gag, sort of a repeated gag. But you know,
Yeah, it's it has become a meme, the
Yeah.
Tarantino foot fetish, because like Patrick said, every single one of his films has some sort of foot reference. You see a lot of feet in his most recent film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, no spoilers for any of these movies that we'll talk about, but there is a lot of feet. So, yeah, if you want to watch a Tarantino film, I think Pulp Fiction is definitely the way to go if you want to watch one. And I'm gonna have another preface thing before I begin my top 5 as well, is that many of you listening aren't going to agree with these movies or like these movies. It's our opinion, all right? And it's just for fun. We're just saying, we're trying to pitch you these movies and let you know that these are like masterpieces to us and why we like them. So just sit back, relax, let us talk about
Get some popcorn.
get some popcorn, get some soda if you like soda, get a blanket, and then put all that crap away because we're getting serious, okay? We are talking about the best movies of all time according to Pete
According to
Taves
us.
and Patrice Stodard.
Stodar.
Stodard. Is that all you have to say about Pulp Fiction? Because I'm excited to talk about my number 5.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, cool. Yay, Pulp Fiction. My number 5, Patrick also has this on his list, but just a little bit higher. I put Shawshank Redemption because
Yeah, that's an amazing movie.
it's fantastic. I'm going to say all of these movies are fantastic, so get ready for lots of, like, amazing, incredible, like, all of those adjectives describing these
Oh, yeah.
movies because we
Yeah.
both are, like, obsessed.
But Shawshank is like pretty up there.
Yeah, if you like Morgan Freeman, if you like Tim Robbins, if you like the whole feel of prison life and trying to escape from a prison, you'll like this movie. It has an old-timey feel because it takes place in, I don't even know when it takes place, like 1940s?
It might be like 1950s.
Not 50s. Well,
I'd say like closer, like 40s maybe, because
yeah, I
when,
think, yeah.
Oh, I was about to say a spoiler, but
Yeah,
then
nope,
I
let's not spoil
dipped
it. Let's not spoil it. Yeah, it's got a really good villain too. I think a villain is good in a movie when you just thinking about the character makes you upset. So there's a
Yeah.
really good
They
villain.
have some really good scenes, like the rooftop scene.
Yes.
If you guys know, like the rooftop Tara scene.
Yeah, where they're like working on the roof. Yeah, that's a really good scene. And overall, the story is really well written. It's written by Stephen King, who's another one of my favorites. And it's just, oh, it's so incredible. The story is fantastic.
It's also like pretty well paced. Like, you know, like there's some movies that like half the movie is just like them standing around doing nothing.
Yep.
Like I feel like Shawshank Redemption is like the pacing is very well. Like
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say,
just kind of
you said exactly what I
there
thought.
isn't a point where like there's always, sorry for interrupting, but there's always like something that is happening, some like little detail that you can pay attention to, whereas like some other movies just have like blanks that you just like sit there and don't really have anything to view.
Yeah, I was, you said exactly what I was gonna say about this movie, is that it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the entire time. There's always something happening, and it's just really exciting. So please go watch Shawshank Redemption if you haven't. It's exquisite. They did a great job. I don't, is there anything more you want to say? Because I mean, if you look at your number 4, you'll see.
My number 4 is Shawshank Redemption as well.
Shawshank
And
Redemption. Oh my.
Yeah, so what she said, like how it's just a great film, great actors. Morgan Freeman does a spectacular job, as always.
Phenomenal. I have to watch that movie at least once a year to be a sane person.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Okay, I don't know. I feel bad for like going to my number 4 right away, but it's because your number 4 spot was Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
But don't mind if I do. I'm excited to talk about this next one. My number 4 spot might seem girly, but I'm gonna prove that it's not. It's The Princess Bride.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah, I know why you're doing that. We're not gonna go into that. The Princess Bride, I feel like everybody likes that movie. I have not met someone who does not like The Princess Bride. Now, for any guy that's listening, you're probably like, oh, what the heck? This is for a girl because it has the title like Princess Bride. Like, what even is that? Well, I'm telling you to shut up, okay?
Brandy.
Because I know plenty of
Actually,
dudes.
I kind of like that.
You like,
It's not a bad film.
yeah, no, you see, even it's for everyone. It's for kids, it's for adults, it's for men, women alike. What's not to like? I mean, you have awesome characters, you have an awesome story. It's a classic upon classics. It's an 80s movie. I adore The Princess
Is this another
Bride.
kissing book, Grandpa?
Is it, what? What'd you say?
Remember the one kid in the movie, he says, is this another kissing book, Grandpa?
Oh, yeah. Is this another... I didn't hear what you said before. That's why I was like, huh? What? Yeah, I don't know. It has a lot of elements in it, like romance, adventure. It's got some intense moments. It's got Humperdinck.
Whoa, spoilers.
What was the spoiler? And like we talked about in the last episode, I think we discussed the marriage. Marriage is what brings us together
today.
So please, if you have not seen Princess Bride, it's a classic. Please go watch it. Okay, I'm done ranting about that movie. Please go on with your number 3 spot.
All right, and number 3, you actually heard in the beginning, was a music man. He's a what? He's a what? He's a music man. And he sells clarinets to the kids in the town. Big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums and the big breast bass, and the piccolo with two forms, two in a shango, bird on a coat, and a big rap shotgun. Well, I don't know much about bands, but you know
I don't know this man. I don't know him. I don't know who this is. Please get him away from me.
But yeah, number 3 is the Music Man, which for those who have been living under a rock since John Philip Sousa, Music Man is a musical. Like, it's also a movie, and I was I participated in it in high school.
Excuse me, we both did.
and the wonderful Piper also did, except you couldn't see it.
Yay.
Or you weren't supposed to.
Excuse me?
Well, because you were in stage crew, so you weren't supposed to be seen.
Yeah, I was supposed to be a ninja behind stage. I was wearing all black, and that was my senior year musical, so that was really fun. But explain what is it about Music Man that just like draws you? Why is it number 3 spot, Patrick? Why is it?
Well, it also like it has just timeless music. I mean, granted, the hero is kind of the villain, like if you really step back to think about it. And like if you don't know what it's about, it's the Music Man is this guy who he is a scam artist, and so he'll like go to a town pretending to be a music instructor and say, yeah, you have to pay me for, you know, instruments and everything like that, and then he'll just skip town with all the money and everything. And and then things happen. He finds Wav, and yeah.
And again, like Patrick said, the music is great. There's some bops in there, and now he's singing. Lord help us all.
This is gonna just become me like reciting things.
Yeah, the entire time you're gonna be reciting everything you've memorized. And I'm here for it. I'm so here for it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a supporting role in a musical this past fall, so I could just, you know, say all my lines from that without any context.
Yeah, he played the most sweet old man, which I just said old man. And let me just tell y'all listening right now is that Patrick is the most old man already. So the part was,
I have the soul of an old man.
He does have the soul of an old man. And so just seeing him with his like gray mustache and his gray hair and his glasses and his like stage makeup, it just fit. It worked for him. So also, okay, sorry, I just random tangent. I went to go see him back from school. I went home for maybe a weekend or something to see the musical because I wanted to see my younger friends perform, like Patrick. And and the show that I was at, and Patrick came on stage, he like looked at the audience and winked in my general direction, and I was like, what?
In my defense, like, I had bought like 4 different people tickets.
Yeah.
And they were all like in the same general area, including my family. So it wasn't just directed at you. It was directed at like everybody, just kind of I'm here.
Yeah. It made me laugh really hard, and I was alone watching the show because nobody wanted to go with me. What a loser I am. Yeah, oof. And so the guy that sat next to me kind of turned to me when I started laughing because Patrick winked at me, and I just started like laughing out loud. And he was...
I don't think I heard you.
Well, no, because I tried to be quiet, but obviously the people next to me could probably hear it. So I was like, oh, shoot. Gotta be quiet there. So anyway, that was...
I would like to discuss everything in that musical in a future
we'll get into our musical days in high school because sadly both of our musical days are over as far as we know currently due to everything happening. And before I get to my number 3 spot, I just wanted to say the quote of the day because it has to do with movies. I picked it out. I have a poster of her in my room, meaning the person that said the quote. So here it is, folks. It says, everything I learned from the movies. Audrey Hepburn. And I could not agree more.
That relates to what we're talking about.
What? It's like we totally planned that out, but we so didn't do that. I don't even know. No. I don't know. Not at all.
This is all improv.
It's truly all improv. We're not kidding. I mean, you can probably tell, but...
Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to get into my number 3. This one might be a long rant, because I feel so strongly about this movie. And I think most people know. My number 3 is Labyrinth. A lot of people don't know what that movie is. Let me explain.
Nope.
Labyrinth is the most mystical, magical movie with great characters. It was produced by an awesome man. It has David Bowie in it, and y'all know that I'm obsessed with David Bowie. That's a discussion for another day. I love David Bowie.
Yeah.
But David Bowie isn't the reason I put this here. It's because the story is really cool. There are puppets throughout the entire thing because it's a Jim Henson movie. Jim Henson is the guy that created the whole Muppet franchise, the whole Muppet company, the whole Muppet everything. So it's a bunch of puppets that look like goblins and creatures. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's so cool. The sets are awesome. The music, it's kind of like a musical in a way. And I bop to these bops. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it, but yeah.
I don't think you would like it, though.
Oh.
Only because it's really weird, and it truly explains why I am the way I am, because of how weird and bizarre the story is. I mean, it's literally about this girl who's really ungrateful, and in the beginning of the movie, she's like, I wish that my little brother would be taken away because he was crying and stuff. He's like a little baby, and she's this teenage girl, super ungrateful, bratty kind of girl. And then the Goblin King, who is David Bowie, takes this little boy away and says, if you want him back, you have to go through my labyrinth. And the entire movie is her meeting like these puppets along the way, these awesome creatures, these characters, and finding the little brother. And the music is odd. The whole vibe of it is really odd. The story is really, really, really bizarre. But I adore it. I have Labyrinth pencils. I have Labyrinth like merch. I can't describe how much I feel, like how strongly I feel. Please watch Labyrinth if you haven't. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
but it's so worth it because you won't feel any other way while watching any other movie. This movie just gives you a whole new feeling. And the journey is really cool because you feel like you're on the journey with this teenage girl trying to find her brother. So, anyway, I'm done. That took a really long time to express my feelings for that movie, but I adore it. So, I'm done.
Speaking of good movies that are strangely and just bizarre in general.
Ooh, I know what you're gonna say.
My number 2 spot is the incredible, the wonderful, the magical Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is a movie that I really hope more people watch it. It is
seriously. That's a serious thing. I hope that more people know what that movie is. Sorry, continue. I'm interrupting your time.
I feel like it's a sin that not enough people have seen it.
Exactly.
Because I mean, maybe not if you're younger, because there are some scenes where they make jokes about.
Yep.
Like the lighthouse scene that might not be good for younger viewers. But
I want to let you explain what's so amazing about Monty Python and the Holy Grail, because that's in my honorable mention section, but I want you to it's just so good. I'm sorry, I'm getting really excited.
So, Monty Python and the Holy Grail is a satirical take on the legends of King Arthur and the Holy Grail. And it's made by Monty Python, who is a comedy writer. And he's written things like Monty Python and the Flying Circus, which I also like, but I haven't really seen very much of. Or Monty Python and the Life of Brian. And then, of course, the most famous one is Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which it's a pretty old movie. It's I want to say 60s, 70s, sort of.
It's definitely a really old movie.
Yeah. And it is kind of interesting how they produced it, because they actually had a bunch of budget cuts right near the when they started filming, and it's an ongoing joke where whenever they ride around, they don't have horses. So they just have coconuts that they've cut in half, and their servants are just clicking them together, so it goes or like that. Exactly. And the reason for that is because they were originally going to have horses, but then they ran out of money midway through when they were going to start making it, and so they just resorted to coconuts. And that's one of the reasons it's funny. It's just
it's hilarious.
It's funny also because they pretend that they're on horses. So when they're in scenes when they're on their horses and then they are getting off, they'll say dismount, and they'll move their legs like they're dismounting a horse.
It's so good. It's the best. It's so brilliant.
Yeah, it is. It is very good. And they're I remember I was actually watching it with Piper and this other friend. And this other friend, she hadn't seen it before. She actually called me out because every single scene, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this scene."
Every single, I can testify. Every single scene that came on, Patrick said,
"Yeah,
I love this scene. Oh my god, I can't what?" He just freaked out about it.
Help! I'm being repressed.
The other thing, I'm just gonna get into it a little bit, is that Monty Python has the type of humor in this movie is just different from what you're used to. It has what people would call British humor. So
yeah,
it's honestly one of the most hilarious. Yeah, it's still really good, and it's one of the most hilarious films I've ever seen in my life. I almost put it on my list, but it's in my honorable mentions. So yeah, you did.
It's my number 2.
Yeah, it's your number 2, bro. It's your number 2. Should I get to my number 2? Quite a change from Monty Python, but it's my favorite Disney movie. And I couldn't not put it on the list. I had to put this one at number 2 because it deserves the number 2 spot. I think Emperor's New Groove. Oh, sorry, that's the number 2 spot. But the Emperor's New Groove and Labyrinth were at tied for number 2 spot. But Emperor's New Groove is the most underrated Disney movie out there. You can prove me wrong. Maybe Treasure Planet as well. But Emperor's New Groove is so funny.
Treasure Planet's good.
Treasure Planet is good. Emperor's New Groove, there's something about it the art style is really cool. The animation is just so different. The way it just looks very geometric and they really emphasize certain colors and schemes, and it's really pleasing to the eye to look at. First of all,
I don't think I've actually seen it.
well, let me tell you, Patrick. How about you sit back and relax and get all that
Okay,
junk,
I'll relax.
and let me tell you about how good it is. And I'm trying to sell these people, including you, that you should watch it. I'm trying to like pitch this movie to everybody on this earth because it deserves to be known to every single person. So
We'll have to have a movie night or something.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, first of all, art style, brilliant. Second of all, it's one of the funnier animated movies by Disney, in my opinion. Because they make little jokes here and there, and there's just little quirks about it they just make me laugh because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So the humor is
I feel
great.
like a lot of Disney movies have like those kind of quirks and everything.
They do, but not like Emperor's New Groove. Emperor's New Groove is a different feeling to it.
Different type of groove.
Yeah, it's a new groove. The Emperor's New Groove. And so humor is good. Third of all, David Spade, the comedian, voices the main guy, Kuzco, and I love David Spade, so win-win. And then fourth of all, the story is also good. I think all of these movies I picked for my list because the story is just fantastic. Emperor's New Groove is the weirdest thing. A guy, this emperor, this jerkaholic, totally just the meanest person ever, turns into a llama because this like assistant woman Yzma is trying to kill him, but instead turns him into a llama on accident, and he has to like get to the palace. It's the weirdest thing, but it's comedy gold. It's fantabulous. It's spectacular. There is no other way to describe it. Okay, I'm done with Emperor's New Groove. On to the honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. Number 1 from Patrick.
Number 7, Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing
not a
you
movie,
want.
Piper.
Okay, alright. I'm just trying to be funny. It's not working.
So, for my number 1 mention, I chose the podcast We're Just Friends because it is on an MP4 file. Therefore, it's technically a video. Therefore, it's a movie.
It's not a movie.
But,
It's not. But I agree.
I mean, it's pretty much on. I almost said what movie my number 1 is, but it's on par.
That's a very bold assumption of you to say. But yeah, it's this podcast is quality content, guys.
Amazing.
We are incredible podcasters already. So
Yeah.
beat that.
Podcaster.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
But in all seriousness, yes, I said that. My one honorable mention is the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And
Good.
That's an old movie. That's like
It's really old.
Is that 50s? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
Yeah, look it up.
Um,
We did not prepare for this at all.
yeah. So it came out in 1947.
Wow.
So
That's
it's
an old movie.
Very old. Very, very old.
I actually haven't seen it, but I've been told to watch it by many of my friends and family. Don't worry, I'm gonna get to it, alright? Jeez. Just hold your horses.
We'll watch it on the movie night. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a pretty big Christmas movie. Like we've always watched it on like
Christmas
Eve.
Okay.
And so it's a very good story. Like the moral and everything. I can't really get into the plot
Yeah.
very much for spoilers, but it's about this guy who really wants to travel and see the world, but every time he gets ready to do that, he finds something like holding him down, and like it feels like he's going one step forward, 2 steps back almost. And it's about like family and like what really matters and like what you want to do rather versus what you should do. And just like you could even like, I always wanted to like go into a in-depth psychoanalysis like of the main character, George Bailey, because it is so interesting, like the decisions he makes and like the life that he leads with his family and everything. It's really interesting, and if you have not seen it, it's fantastic. 100% recommend it.
All right. Good. And what's on your other honorable mention list? I have like 4 movies on my honorable mention list, and you only have 2, so that's kind of embarrassing.
Well, I have some up in my brain, you see.
Okay, all right, let's hear them. Spill the tea.
Another one is Star Wars A New Hope.
Nobody can see it, Patrick.
I know.
He wrote "ope" as an OPE instead of hope, because we're from Wisconsin and we say "ope." So wanted to clarify that.
But yeah, if you don't know what Star Wars is,
no, come on, everyone knows what Star Wars is. We are the biggest Star Wars fans of them all. Nobody can top us, prove us wrong. I'm here. Just come prove me wrong.
Fight me.
Fight us.
Yeah, so Star Wars is about this one dude named Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, we're not getting into the whole the whole story of Star Wars. People know what Star Wars is about. Come on now. Come on.
Yeah, and the main character is this one floppy ear dude who says Misa all the time.
Misa Jar Jar Binks. I can't do the accent.
Misa Jar Jar Binks.
Sounds like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, that's a good movie too.
That is a good movie. It's one of my favorites. But didn't make it on the list though. But why do you like A New Hope more than all the other Star Wars films? Because there are 9 of them.
I feel like the acting is pretty good, and like, I mean, the graphics don't really hold up to like modern day.
Because it's one of the older ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not bashing it for that. I'm saying like the new ones are fantastic. Like no matter what your like opinion on the story, what they've done with the franchise and everything, you have to admit they look beautiful. Like,
yeah,
they definitely do an amazing job.
Yeah, right.
But like what I was saying before, like the graphics aren't the best modern day, but like for that time, it was like groundbreaking almost.
Exactly.
Like it was pretty big. Yeah, and I don't really have much to say on that because I'm sure most of you at least know what Star Wars is.
Yeah. Sorry. I just was gonna say that Star Wars: A New Hope is one of the better films in my opinion, and I just think out of all the movies, that definitely is one of the good ones. Mm-hmm. So yeah, go watch it.
Yeah, definitely. And another one is this one is kind of tied for honorable mention: Avengers 1 and Avengers Endgame.
Those are really good. I knew you were gonna say that too. You're predictable. Yeah. You know that?
Oh, I'm offended.
Oh, good.
Wow, I'm kidding. I kid. But yeah, I mean, and like Star Wars, these don't really need much of an introduction. It's superheroes.
Yeah, it's
the graphics
what's not to love
amazing.
About the Avengers series. I guess there's a lot, but it's so epic.
Iron Man 3.
It's the most epic film. Endgame is so cool.
Yeah. Oh, that last fight in Endgame. I'm not gonna spoil it.
No, we cannot. We cannot talk about that. That brings up a lot of emotion for me. I can't go through that again.
Was awesome. Did you cry during Endgame?
Are you kidding me? I cry in every single film ever. Even if it's a happy movie, I still cry. You know why? Because I'm a wimp.
What?
I'm a Pisces. And Pisces cry a lot, so...
Oh, you're Piper.
Ha ha ha. That's so funny.
But yeah, no, I didn't cry, but like I did get like emotional.
I was gonna ask if you... I knew, like... I was gonna ask, but I know that you don't get emotional in movies like most people don't, so... My first honorable mention is Forrest Gump. I love Forrest Gump.
Of course.
It's... I mean, I don't know, again, anyone who doesn't like that movie. I think most people like Forrest Gump.
Stupid is as stupid does, sir.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Exactly. It's got Robin Wright, and she's really hot. It also has Tom Hanks, and I love Tom Hanks. I'm obsessed with that human being. It just, I don't know. The story's really cool.
He plays the character. Like, Tom Hanks is honestly one of, like, my favorite actors because
Me
he
too,
just like
bro. Me
plays
too.
such a variety.
He's such
He
a
just plays,
chameleon.
like, such a variety
He's
of roles
such a
so well.
chameleon. A chameleon.
Come,
Chameleon. Yeah. So, I like what happens in the movie. I think it's really extraordinary. All the things that he accomplishes, and it also makes me cry like a baby. So
When you were like little and you first saw it,
yeah.
did you think that it was a true story?
I'm sure the first time, because when I saw it, I was really, really young. So I'm sure I thought, like, oh, that was a really cool true story. I thought it might have been, like, based on someone else's life. And then I think my dad was like, no, that is a fictional story. But it's still cool.
This isn't movies, but I used to read this book series called A Series of Unfortunate Events. I think there's now a Netflix series on, Netflix.
Oh.
And I think I read it when I was in, like, 3rd grade, maybe. And I, honest to goodness, thought it was a true story.
Oh.
Which is funny because if you ever read it, which I kind of recommend it, I tried rereading it, like, recently, and I'm like, I got, like, a quarter of the way through the first book, and I'm like, yeah, not a huge fan of the writing style. Like, maybe, like, when I was little I liked it, but not so much anymore.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Random tangent, but yeah.
Thanks for sharing with the class.
You're very welcome.
I'd like to share my other 3 honorable mentions with the class as well. My next honorable mention is Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade. I like all 3 Indiana Jones, and I say 3 even though there's 4, because the 4th one doesn't count.
No, there's not 4. We're not mentioning.
We are not counting the 4th one. The 4th one sucks.
There is no 4th. What 4th?
Yeah, what 4th one? I don't even know what I'm talking about. I like all 3 of the films, but The Last Crusade is obviously the best one in the series. It gives you...
I like the first one.
Okay, the first one and the 3rd one are, like, my favorites. The 2nd one is alright. I still like it, but whatever. The Last Crusade, it has... anything with Harrison Ford, I generally really enjoy.
Harrison Ford is... So, like, he doesn't play that much of a variety.
Yeah,
when it comes
he's
to
not
roles,
a chameleon.
No, when it comes to his roles, though, he's very confident. I feel like, and, like, he just kind of steals away it. Like, nobody can, as we've seen in other movies that have played the same characters as him, nobody can really, like, have that charisma and just, like, gusto
for sure
that Harrison Ford brings to those movie roles.
Yeah, and unfortunately, nowadays, because Harrison Ford is getting older, he really doesn't like interviews, he doesn't like talk shows, he really truly tries to avoid things like that. And that makes me sad.
I read somewhere that throughout, from, like, the 2nd Star Wars movie all the way to the 3rd one, he was trying to get Lucasfilms to kill his character off because he did not like being that role. He just didn't like it.
Yeah.
And so he wanted them to kill off his character.
Yeah, well... Harrison Ford. He's quite difficult with the media. If you've ever seen him in an interview, he's very vague. He doesn't say a whole lot. And it makes me sad because I really like Harrison Ford. But he's past his prime. He's had his time, and that rhymed. So. Hey. So Indiana Jones, I think Indiana Jones is my favorite series besides Star Wars. I cannot express with enough words in the English or Spanish language how much I adore Indiana Jones. The entire adventure is great from beginning to end.
Bien.
Except for the 4th one, so which doesn't exist.
One?
Yeah, I don't know. The next honorable mention I have is what Patrick also had on his list, which is any Star Wars movie, but specifically the original trilogy. I like those the best.
The original were just fantastic.
Yes, the original, as it gets, were fantastic. Carrie Fisher is my queen. I like Mark Hamill. I like Harrison Ford, like I've previously mentioned. I Captain, and my last but not least, but we already talked about it, I won't say much more, is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's a great film. Please go watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so
The number one,
pick.
we already people that know us really well already know our number one spots, but we have to take a lot of time to talk about why they're our favorite, because I'm just gonna let you have the spotlight. I'm sorry, I keep stealing it.
Alright, so my number one is, drum roll please, it is The Godfather Part 1.
Ooh,
And
what a surprise.
The Godfather, yeah, and it's a amazing movie. Like, the acting with everybody in it is just phenomenal. That word, yeah, I can.
Oh my god, I've never heard you mess up a word that badly. Phenomenal. Okay, sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's about the Italian family that own the mafia, pretty much, and they have like really good lines, and just like the set in it and everything is very well done, very good acting, and like it's kind of those movies that, because like a lot of more modern movies, they try to flesh out their characters and flesh out their environment by just overfilling it with dialogue. I mean, but with these movies, like especially older movies, they would cut back on the dialogue and express thoughts and feelings using scenery.
Yeah.
And an excellent addition to that is, in The Godfather, there is a repetition of oranges, which I'm not going to spoil what happens, but if you ever watch the movie, look for the oranges, because the oranges always symbolize something.
Good to know.
Something is like coming. And it's really just like interesting.
I also wanted to point out that I'm just going to roast Patrick really quick, just as a side note. Patrick spoils things really easily. So the reason why he keeps saying I'm not going to spoil anything is because he spoils things really, really, really easily.
It's like paper thin. Like, I could literally just like drop something on it and I'm just going to like say Harrison Ford is Luke's father. Yeah.
But Harrison Ford is not Luke's father.
Yeah, but I don't want to spoil who Luke's father is.
Yeah, so we're not going to do that. I just wanted to quick roast you because you really are bad with not spoiling things. You spoil things all the time, especially for me. We'll be talking on the phone and you'll be talking about something like a game or a movie or a TV show. And you'll just be like, this happens. And I'll be like, what? What is wrong with you? So that's why he keeps saying, I don't mean to spoil, or I'm not trying to spoil it, or I'm not going to spoil it, because he does. He does all the time.
Yeah.
Continue.
But don't worry. I won't spoil who Luke's father is. Don't worry.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you wanted to say about The Godfather? Because that was really good, what you said.
Yeah, I'd say definitely, if you have not watched it, it's a little longer. I mean, it's a trilogy. There's part 1, part 2, and part 3. I have seen part 1 and part 2, but I've heard mixed things about part 3, and like I've heard people say that like they watched it and it like ruined the entire series for them. And
now are you like afraid to watch it, or
a little bit, just because I mean it's my favorite. But part 2 is also good. I didn't like it as much as part 1. But part 2 is very good. And I think each one of them is just over 3 hours long. So, hey, if you have 9 hours to spare and a good friend to watch it with you, then hey, 9 hour long.
Call back to the first, I think it was the first episode we talked about The Godfather. And Patrick was like, you want to spend 9 hours with me? And I was like, I am not spending 9 hours with you consecutively. That would make any person go crazy. No offense.
I'm already crazy, so none taken.
Alright. I'm just gonna jump right into my number one spot. Drumroll please from you, if you can. Number one spot is The Goonies. I absolutely adore, love, admire, what's another word for it? I don't know. I can't come up with any more synonyms. The Goonies has always been my favorite. I have like a Goonies shirt. I reference the Goonies way too much. Actually, just a side note with the Goonies. Recently, Josh Gad, if you know who that is, he is an actor. He voices Olaf in Frozen. He played LeFou in the new Beauty and the Beast. Josh Gad is kind of a goof. I don't really like him that much, but he's doing this thing recently, or he has been doing this thing, where he gets old cast members together over Zoom and brings them together. And his very first episode happened to be the Goonies. And let me just tell you, the emotional response that I had from it, I was laughing, I was crying, I was like squealing. I'm surprised that I didn't wake my parents up when I was watching it, because my entire childhood was coming true. I can't even tell you guys how happy the movie makes me and how much it makes me feel, or how like happy it makes me feel. And the next episode he's doing is Back to the Future, so good on him.
Actually, I have not seen Back to the Future.
Oh my god! Oh, no way! No way! Everyone's seen Back to the Future. Are you kidding me?
You haven't seen The Godfather.
I know, and you can give me crap about that, okay? But Back to the Future is a classic movie.
That's fair. I'll watch it sometime. We'll have just like...
We'll have a marathon.
After this, we're just gonna have like a movie marathon.
Yeah, we're gonna watch a lot of movies together, I'm sure. Not that I want to, but I feel like as a citizen of the Earth...
You don't want to watch movies with me?
What?
You don't want to watch movies with me?
No, I'm just saying... I'm just saying that as a citizen, I feel like anybody should see The Godfather and Back to the Future. When a movie makes you feel about something, or just not feel about something, I'll start that over. When a movie makes you feel something as strongly as it makes me feel, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but The Goonies makes me feel a lot. There's action, there's adventure, there's like just outstanding characters. The story is incredible, and I won't go on too much because as you folks can see on your devices that this episode is getting long, I'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
The Goonies is fantastic. Please go watch it if you haven't. It's a classic 80s movie. And I also wanted to point out that a lot of the movies that we have on our lists, as in me and you, is that we both have older movies and not more modern ones. We have, 80s movies, maybe early 90s, 2000s, whatever. So I just wanted to appreciate that we have older movies
40s.
Instead of 40s. We have older movies instead of newer ones, and that's because Patrick and I both like older movies. So anyway,
because I'm an old man at heart.
Yeah, yes, you are. And oh my God, Patrick, we forgot the fact of the day.
Oh my god!
Oh my God, we forgot it.
Well, speaking of old things, did you know
Oh my God.
that in olden times, 18th century, people actually thought that tomatoes were poisonous?
BS. I don't believe you.
No, actually, it was because, well, A, they're slightly acidic, and so that might have been a reason why. Also because they were plump and, like, red, and they, I guess, partly associated that with, like, poisonous plants and stuff like that. I don't know.
All right, well, fantastic. You wanna wrap up, Patrice?
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
Well, everybody, it has been a pleasure. Thank you, Piper, for sharing your amazing opinions on these spectacular movies.
And you know what? Thank you, Patrick, for sharing your passionate thoughts on your favorite movies. I really appreciate you sharing
very
everything.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Miss Piper.
And thank you.
Anyways, thank you all for tuning in and listen to us ramble about things you probably don't care about.
Yes, thank you.
See you next time. And remember, this has been
We're just friends.